year and a half, 2 years ago, I started looking really much more deeply into what it actually was, how it was created.
Are there actors in Bitcoin? Have you heard actors like the other Highlanders, you were chopping off their heads? Were they screaming buy Bitcoin or Dogecoin to the moon or anything like that?
Find something somebody wants that doesn't cost you a lot of money to make.
Welcome back to the Crypto Factor. Today we're talking to Adrian Paul. A huge surprise for you. He is or was the Highlander and he likes cryptocurrency. We're going to be talking about crypto. We're going to ask him some tough questions. And Adrian, thank you so much for doing this. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for coming on with me. Me coming on, whichever it is.
And if anybody here wants to know about his life, about what he's been doing, about what success advice he can give you, entrepreneurship advice he can give you, check out our interview on my other channel, Paul Democrato. It's linked down below after you watch this video. So Adrian, welcome. And I gotta ask you, how did you get involved in crypto?
It's one of those things that, you keep your ears out and sort of, I was never really a big financial guy in the middle of my career, in a sense. I was making a lot of money and you're like, okay, I'm always going to make money. And it doesn't always happen that way. And so you invest in certain things. And then gradually in the 2009, you start hearing about Bitcoin, this new thing called Bitcoin. And I didn't really understand it. And I kept hearing about it. And then I start seeing some of the gains being made in it and I'm looking at it. And literally it was only about a year and a half, 2 years ago, I started looking really much more deeply into what it actually was, how it was created, what the structure of it was. Because I think probably 80% of the population still doesn't and has no clue what it is. And I think it's going to be one of those things because it's not just a new currency per se, it's a new way of life. And the way it's structured, the whole altcoin and the blockchain that's been created is going to probably change our world in another 20 years. I think it's still developing right now, and currently Bitcoin is at it's actually really low at the moment. It's about 29,000 as of today. As you can tell, I look daily at the markets, but but it's been vacillating between 30 to 40,000. And, I subscribe to different channels as well, just to see what's going on. And so what interested me in not necessarily Bitcoin, but altcoins more than anything else was the blockchain effect that it had behind it. And that to me is life-changing, and we've seen so many changes in our lives over the past 20, 30 years. Some of them much quicker than we ever had 100 years before. And I think this is another element of it. I think people don't understand it. Governments are only just getting behind it because they're going to lose control. Decentralized finance is a whole different thing. So I think the governments are only getting behind it. China's just shut down on Bitcoin because they're bringing out their own coin. And so I think you're going to see that, I think, some places that where the miners now have migrated to the United States, where they're trying to lure them to the United States to do it. There's a lot of new stuff like, is Bitcoin mining bad for the environment because it actually uses fossil fuels, whereas a lot of it's actually done through electrical networks. So, but it's still uncertain who's doing what. So I still think it's in that vacillating stage right now. And so that interests me because a new technology like that is really interesting. It's like SpaceX, like Branson SpaceX, and that's going to be, I think, another big thing that people are going to go into. My wife looked at it the other night. I said, yeah, he's just gone up into space, as is Bezos. She's going, but she goes, why? Why? And I'm like, well, probably because he can, first of all, yeah, because but there are new frontiers. America wasn't founded back in the 1600s. It was a new land, right?
Yeah.
It expanded into America. It became the United States of America through toil and trouble, and as did the rest of the world. It found its new boundaries. Now we've kind of gone through this world. I mean, the oceans are the only ones we haven't really gone in, except we're trying to see what's going on in the oceans now. But the planets seem to be the next thing. We're going to Mars now. So will we destroy this planet and then have to live somewhere else? I don't know. But I think some people are thinking that would be part of the
Yeah.
solution, to live somewhere else in a different environment. The only problem is we're still going to take the human disease with it, which is greed and all those things. And I think greed is the big. I don't think, unfortunately, the human race, until they start getting more enlightened, which is beginning to happen, but it's only a very small amount of the population. It's not going to be. It's going to be still going to be about I need to have this more than you.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you look at.
So you're an actor. You're in the Highlander. You've been in different in Hollywood. You were part of Hollywood, very successful in it. You're an entrepreneur. Are there actors in Bitcoin? Have you heard actors like the other Highlanders? You were chopping off their heads. Were they screaming "Buy Bitcoin" or Dogecoin to the moon or anything like that? I don't know. I'm just trying to be a little humorous.
No. I mean, Dogecoin is a funny. That's a funny thing. It doesn't have any real basis to it, except you had two actors and a singer that were actually touting it, and suddenly it goes through the roof. You know,
but is Hollywood involved in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency? What's your feedback from people you know? Because obviously you know people in Hollywood, yes?
Some. It's still new. As I said, it's still a new process. I haven't heard any of the studios saying, okay, we'll accept Bitcoin to pay for movies. But that's the same thing. PayPal wasn't going to do that, but now they're into Bitcoin. So it will trickle down, and once one of them starts it, all of them will start it. It just takes one. It's always going to be the way. Once one of them says, okay, I think I can do this, and they understand it. That's what I said. That's the issue, is understanding it and what it is and how it benefits them, and all the different security factors that you can get with Bitcoin, etc. But it is volatile.
So if there could be only one, please excuse the pun, but if there could be only one, would it be Bitcoin? Would it be another crypto? What's the one crypto for you, if it could be, or do you think they can coexist?
Well, as you know better than I do, Bitcoin is you have to put a lot of money into Bitcoin now to really make your money back, right? Because the ones I think you're going to see where you will make a lot of your returns are on the altcoins soon, because when Bitcoin goes up, it affects the altcoins as well, and so it's a balance between the two. But I think the amount of gains you get out of the altcoins can be much greater than Bitcoin. I mean, I actually invested in Ethereum way back, and so Ethereum's done well. It's down now, but again, it was not the big daddy. It was kind of like the mama, the sister, but it has it's got more ability to do the gains that you want. You put $5,000 into a coin that's worth 20 cents, you get X amount of those, and then all of a sudden that 20 cents goes to $1. Well, that $5,000 you just put is exponentially gone up extremely compared to if you put that into something that was worth, put $5,000 into something that's $1,000 a coin. So again, there's thousands of coins, and you have to really be very selective as to which ones you're going for.
Where do you see the industry going? Do you think and of course, this is not a question that you would know the answer to, or I'm not trying to put you, but do you think we're going into a bear market? Do you think we're going down? Do you think we're going up? What is your views? And the only reason I'm asking is people are wondering, and there's no correct answer here. But what do you think?
I think as long as it has the right fundamentals, like a stock, the coins that you've got, if you believe in the coin, I think that will keep it. I don't think, again, I'm in the same boat. I mean, I'm looking at, the gains I've had over the past, 8 months have dwindled.
Turn your screen a little bit, and then you can.
Sorry. The gains I've.
No, answer from the beginning. Sorry.
So I don't know what the right answer to that is, because I think the fundamentals are really what are key. If you see something that has a fundamental chance of doing something and has the right team behind it, then you can bet on it, I think, because really it is a bet in a sense. But you have to do your work. It's very much like a stock. If it has the right team behind it and it has the right fundamentals and has the answer or the solution to a problem that the world will want, then I think it's going to do well. If it's something that is just on a whim, I don't think it will do well. where's Bitcoin going right now? I think it's really, and altcoins. I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't. Are we in a bear? I don't think we're in a bear market, but I don't think we're in a. I think it's kind of in that mid state right now. Everybody trying to figure out what's going on, especially in the past 2 months. Past 2 months, it's gone up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, and so it's weird.
Adrian, that is actually the correct answer if you're wondering. That is actually what's going on. Because I do TA. So I'm personally more of a TA person, a 20% fundamentals person. Do you believe in TA more or technical analysis, or are you more of a fundamental person, who's a fundamental guy when it comes to cryptos?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I look at what it is. I get advice from some of the experts, if you like, that some services that I look at. So I'd say a bit of both in a sense, really. I mean, I kind of just look at that, and I don't think you can go with your gut. I think you have to go with the analysis in a sense, based on you bet on 10. One might do absolutely amazing. The other 9 might do, 6 of them will do okay, and 3 of them will fail.
So it's a venture capitalist approach.
In a sense, I mean, it's I think that's kind of the aspect. I don't think you should bet everything on one horse. I mean, unless you come from the future and you know exactly where that thing's going to go. You're betting on one thing is risky, but very rewarding, but very risky, because you could lose a lot.
See, a lot of people are probably wondering why I'm asking you these questions, and because, okay, you're not a crypto expert. You've stated this, right? You're a swords expert. You're an acting expert. You're a martial expert. Martial arts. But the reason I'm asking this is because it's good to get other people's views and see what, let's say, Hollywood is thinking, what people are thinking, because that gives you drive on what's going to happen as well, and how they got into crypto, why they're getting into crypto, what are their thoughts, what questions they have. And that's why I'm asking these questions to you, Adrian, because I'm actually very curious to know, what do people around you think about you getting into crypto? Do they make fun of you, or do they say congratulations? How is the sentiment there?
Well, to be honest, I mean, I say it occasionally to people. I don't necessarily need anybody to know what my financial status is.
Oh, did I dox you on this video? Like, I just let everybody know you have Bitcoin.
No, I mean, no, it's not that. It's just I basically don't. I tell people, I'm kind of. I don't tell them what cryptos necessarily, unless I have to get into a conversation with them. I got into crypto on my own. My wife didn't know about it for a good 8 months. When she did, she's like, "Why didn't you tell me?" And so I basically, there's a mixed, once you kind of look at the fundamentals, and the way I look at it is that you've got to know how much you could lose, but be smart with the point when how much I wouldn't hold on to something because it's going to work. It's going to work. It's going to work. If you see something that's not running and there is a run on it, and I would get out of it and make sure you know what your stop loss is going to be, right? Where is it that you can say, okay, I've had enough of this, I've got to get out. I mean, and that really comes from listening to advice and seeing where things are going right now. I mean, as I said, crypto's down, Bitcoin's down to 29,000 today.
Yeah.
Okay, people that got in at 40,000 now screaming, but is it going to go to 100,000 by the end of the year? Maybe next year, maybe.
Risk reward.
Yeah, it's so you've got to look at what I'm just a layman really in this thing. You're absolutely right. I'm no expert in it. I just really take other people's advice and kind of look at it, because it is confusing. When I first got into crypto, to actually buy a crypto, then have to go to an exchange and then go to that exchange to change something was like, what? How? I have no clue what's going on.
Exactly.
And it's still confusing to a degree. And then how do you sell and what do you buy at? And watching the markets go up. Oh, that's the number I want to sell at. But again, it's kind of, there's a lot of numbers, and it's a younger generation thing, I think.
But you also hold. I think you're hodling for the future for your kids as well.
Yeah, I decided. I called it my kids. It's that's what that account is for. The way I look at it is like, I will have that account and it kind of sits there with a certain amount of money in it. And if and when it goes up, it'll be for my kids, really. Basically, it's for their college and for everything else. That's what I'm looking at it for.
So as an entrepreneur, what would be a good entrepreneurial move to get into crypto? What are you specifically thinking about getting into doing an entrepreneurial move in crypto, or what could somebody do in this environment, in this industry?
Oh, tough question, really. As an entrepreneur, I mean, I have a guy I know who's actually a Bitcoin miner. Or an altcoin miner, should I say, or crypto miner, not Bitcoin. So I tend to see what people say as an entrepreneur. There are always new things coming out, or find something somebody wants that doesn't cost you a lot of money to make. That's why I think the simple thing is, it could be something like a bottle cap. I mean, here's a prime example. There's a guy, and again, this is away from crypto in a sense. This is a product, but still the same thing applies.
Mm-hmm.
This guy realized that on every single sunscreen bottle, there was something missing. And so he patented the words "and reapply." And then he went to every single different manufacturer and sold them the idea to put on the bottles, which basically meant that the manufacturers are now making more money because people are having to constantly reapply to their product. So he made millions off of just that one thing, right? So the same thing applies to this, is find that one thing that everybody might need and then see if it works. And you don't have to spend a huge amount of money on it. But then do your research. I think that's the other thing.
That is excellent advice, by the way. That is very good advice, and that is key to take away. I think that is something that people should pay attention to and find that one thing that you can do in crypto. What do you think of NFTs, non-fungible tokens?
Oh yeah, non-fungible. That's a whole brand new thing. I mean, I still don't understand them totally. I kind of like the idea of them. Non-fungible tokens are having the rights to a product. I will probably venture into them to see how they move. It'd be kind of an interesting, again, there's actually, when we talk about not a lot of people knowing about crypto, there are even less people understanding or knowing about non-fungible tokens.
Yeah.
So it's a really new market. And again, I think you're going to find that some stuff out there is absolutely worthless, but people are paying a lot of money for it. It really doesn't have any fundamental value, and then something, I mean, I've seen them, little drawings of kiddies go for like $1,000. And I'm like, well, what exactly is that?
More than that, there's kiddies that go for millions.
Oh, no, I know. And then you say, what fundamental value does that have? But again, art is one of those things which is subjective. One of my dear friends is one of the relatives of Picasso. And so, who would look at a piece of art with this face going all one way or another and say, well, that, back in the 1600s, 1700s, that's not how they saw art. And yet this guy came in and created art, and now everybody goes, that's what I want. Therefore, supply and demand allow it to be more valuable. So that's the same thing with non-fungible tokens. It's supply and demand, something that people are going to want that you can now put your stamp on. And as I get to learn more about them, I could speak more intelligently about them. But I think they're interesting idea, but again, very, very young in the concept.
But that said, is being a bit humble about it. And I'm going to dox this right now. I know you're interested, and you're going to make a move soon in one of these areas in crypto. I know, because we're doing it together. So I just wanted to be the first channel to say that. But even though that would come from me anyway, but yeah, Adrian is not. He's a bit modest and humble in general, and I admire that. But he knows a little bit more than what he's letting out, which is really cool.
Well, let's put it like this. I've lived in the entertainment industry for too long. So I mean, the minute you say this, that, somebody else has got a rebuttal to it.
So what advice can you give people that you have learned? And this can be from mistakes and failures in crypto. For people that are watching this channel, because listen, this is a cryptopreneurship channel. We have a lot of investors here. We have a lot of experts here. We have a lot of people that are in crypto, but we also have a lot of new people coming to crypto, looking to make money or looking to work in crypto. What advice would you give these people?
Don't look for a fast buck.
Don't look for a fast buck. Excellent. Yes, exactly.
Because that will crush you in the end. You might get onto a crypto that's going up immediately, and then you'll go, oh yeah, that's great, I've done all this stuff, and all of a sudden you turn around and it's gone the next day. You've got to understand what it is you're getting into, and I think some people don't. They just go with the general consensus. This seems like, I've heard this, my best friends told me this is the best one to get into. Oh great, I put $3,000 into it, and all of a sudden the next day the whole thing, I mean, the whole what was that was the not Robin Hood,
Yes.
which was right, that
Yes,
whole
yes.
thing, it knocked it all the way up, but it was all based on people, a whole different way of actually trading, and some people made some money on that, but a lot of other people lost money, and you got to know what you're getting into.
Exactly. So is there any more pieces of advice you would like to give people that are new into crypto? Or yes, do that. And I have one more question.
Well, I would say, get the advice from people, spend the money to get advice from people that know what they're talking about, or you believe know what they do. Your research and find out those people. You can go to podcasts. There are different newsletters that provide this, but basically you've got to look up who those people are and get that advice. You can't do it on your own. There's too much out there to do it on your own.
Yeah. And which exchange do you recommend people to go buy crypto?
Oh, that's a good point, because again, exchanges are all different. They're constantly changing. I mean, I've got Coinbase, I've got Binance, I've got KuCoin, I've got Bitmark, I've got like a few different exchanges, because some coins don't trade on some of the larger exchanges. Coinbase is very easy to use, I find, but
With the largest fees and can't really
exactly,
without.
yeah, but that's why I don't have a lot in there. But I'm also on Kraken.
Yeah.
Is another I kind of like. So again, it depends on. I think the fees, you have to look at the fees.
Have you checked out Coin Metro yet? I told you to check out Coin Metro last.
No, I haven't. No, I haven't yet. No, but because I actually want to.
I'm offended.
No, listen, I've got my son's birthday party. I've got
I know
events to do. I've got all this stuff, so I've been trying to do that. But the thing is also is having a digital wallet, which I think is another thing that putting all your coins into a digital wallet and not necessarily relying on some of the
of course, not your keys, not your Bitcoin.
Exactly,
is there any ones you recommend?
Well, actually, we talked about one last time, and I've got two of them. I can't remember which ones I've got now. It was. Now you got me. No, because I don't know enough about them, to be honest. For me to say, it's only because I happen to have a couple of them, but that doesn't mean they're the best. So I can't recommend that. So I'm say, Adrian Paul told me this should be it, and then it fails, and I'm like, I didn't mean it. So
it was Exodus.io. I'm interviewing him next week. And I wasn't actually supposed to say this, that I'm interviewing him. It's more of a surprise. But if anybody watches at the end of this video, there you go. You just learned who my next guest will be on the.
There you go. Exactly.
One of my next guests, anyway. So, do you have any questions that you would like to ask us in crypto? Do you have any questions that you think that need answers to, that need to be more clear, anything like that?
Well, the interesting thing for me about crypto is how. Is crypto one of those things that you keep for a while, or is crypto one of those things that you trade? What is that? It's a different type of thing as to what gets your goal. I remember I actually happened to another reason. I was sitting in a restaurant one day, and this girl says, "Oh, do you know about such and such?" And I said, "No, I have no idea." And she's talking about these exchanges and how she gets on crypto and she makes trades, and she just makes a few $100s a day and then gets off. And so, if you made $300, $400, $500 a day, all of a sudden in a month, you're making, yes, you're going to fail, but you could be making yourself some decent cash. So some people are doing that. But I don't know what the best way is, whether it's to trade crypto or what the state of the market would. Should you jump out when crypto starts crashing? That's a question for me that is always on, because I'm always looking at I look like 2 times a day at least on all my exchanges to see what's happening. And then when I see them failing, I'm like, oh gosh, should I get out? And then I go,
Yeah,
no,
that
no,
emotion,
I'm okay.
that
Yeah, and that's what, and I say, well, no, this is recommended. This was what I went. I'm going to stay the course because I think it's
yeah.
going to do it. Stay the course to a point. That's what I said. Stop losses. I'm up on my cryptos, but if I get to the point where I go, okay, I'm getting to the even point again, and it looks like I might pull out at that point,
Yeah.
or put them somewhere.
What most people do, or a rule of the thumb, or I don't want to say the word advice, is you essentially try to store or hodl or keep or hold what you believe in the future. For example, that would be your Bitcoin, maybe your Ethereum, but Bitcoin would be your spendable store of value, if you will, what you try to collect, your gold, if you will, your digital gold. And everything else you can swing trade, not day trade, because most people can never time the bottom or the top and do that daily. It just takes too much out of you.
Right.
But you can swing trade and trade to make more sats or trade to make more Bitcoin, where you put it back into Bitcoin. And then once the market starts falling down, Bitcoin will fall down less than the other altcoins, and you can start over. And that's how you amplify and compound your crypto holdings, if you will. And then and some people use the profits to live, others to put into Bitcoin. Some do a mixture of both. Like me, I live off crypto. I literally live off crypto, but I'm also compounding my crypto holdings at the same time. And I think that's where the whole confusion is in crypto. Is a lot of people want to hold for, oh, just hold, hold till you die. That's crap. Because a lot of people, and don't invest in more than you can lose. Well, then you'll never make anything. So there's a nice little balance, because most people, investing more than they can lose means, should I invest this money that I could go for coffee or go out or go on vacation with? No, that's not investing. You can lose that. That's okay, right? So that one phrase, not more than you lose, I think it's overrated. But at the same time, you have to sort of balance it out so you can make money, make profits, but also compound your crypto at the same time. And you can do it, but it takes a lot of studying, it takes a lot of patience, and it takes a lot of determination and
Right.
following certain rules.
Right. Yeah, it's again, it's a very complicated market to a degree if you don't understand it. And
it is. And Adrian, I'm excited. I'm going to be excited to have you back on here once we have a couple of things to announce. I think it's going to be really, really cool. Hollywood is in crypto, or getting into crypto, and I think it's really cool. Thank you, Adrian, so much for doing this interview. I really appreciate you. And you can find links to Adrian down below. Watch his other interview, but also check out his school, what he teaches, what he does. He's an entrepreneur. He's a fascinating person. Not only did he cut people's heads off, but he has done so much that you need to know in that interview down below. Adrian, thank you, man. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Good. See you soon. Take care.
Bye-bye.